call me Windjammer Mac. I don't know why.
Uh-huh.
I guess it's because I've been on a lot of Windjammer cruises.
And we were talking about Eddie.
Yeah.
And did Eddie have a nickname?
Well, sure. Good old Offshore Eddie. I met Eddie back in '85 I was on the Mandalay, like I am today. He was quite a character. Norwegian. Unbelievable fellow. I said to Eddie, I says, well, Eddie, I said, what do you do? Well, he says, I'm in sales. I said, that's it? He said, well, he says, I do a lot of things. And he gave me a card, and he had all the things he did on that card, everything from alligator tamer to marriage counselor. So I said, Eddie, you're a marriage counselor? He says, nobody knows marriage as good as I do. He said, I've been married 8 times. I said, 8 times, Eddie? I said, well, what's your wife like? He said, well, right now, he says, I'm divorced. He says, I'm looking for the next one. And I said, oh, okay. And he was a very, very charming fellow. I suppose he was in his 80s somewhere, probably 85, 86. And so that was back in 1985. Next time I saw Eddie was 2 years later. I was on the Polynesia. And I says, Eddie, I says, how you doing? He says, oh, he says, I'm doing good. I says, well, what do you mean you're doing good? He says, well, he says, I got married again. I said, my God, Eddie, you got wife number 9? He says, yeah, she's a dandy. I said, well, tell me about her. He said, well, he says she's 41 years old. I said, that's nice. I says, well, I'd like to meet her. Where's she at? Well, she's not on the cruise. I said, how come, Eddie? He said, well, see, she works. Well, what's your wife do, Eddie? Well, she drives an 18-wheeler coast to coast.
18-wheeler.
My goodness.
And she drives through Seattle, Washington, and then to up to Canada, or northwest Canada, and California, and all the western states.
He got to be a good friend of Captain Mike, the founder of Windjammer, Captain Mike Burke. And I guess they were about the same age. And they were both interested in sailing and Navy and things to do with the sea. So Mike told me, he says, Eddie, he says, I need you. He says, I got some sails need repaired. He says, I got about a month's work for you.
Oh, I'll tell you the story. Mike Burke come into Miami with a small sailboat with a broken rig on it. He asked me to fix it, so I fixed it, and then he asked me to go with him for a month. And that month is not up yet, and that was in 1951.
1951. That's wonderful. So you work on the sails and...
Yeah. I work on the sails from ship to ship. I go from ship to ship all the time. And then do all the splicing, wire splicing.
My God, that was back in the 50s. And he went to work for Mike Burke. And I guess he worked up until almost until the time he died in the 90s for Mike Burke. That 1 month job turned out to be 40 years. It was quite a